Good morning, Kahal Kadosh, Beruchim Abaim to everybody. Today is Sunday, the 15th day of Elul, 5782, corresponding to September 11, 2022. I really don't know where to start today's class. Let's start by the delicious breakfast and class graciously sponsored today by Mr. Clemente Rahamim Beda Hamuya Kohen, Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved father, Hacham Shabbatai Beda Hamuya Kohen Ben Mazal, that yesterday was the day of his Askara. Also, we take the opportunity to wish Mr. Beda a happy birthday. May Hashem give you arichut yamim v'shanim tovot. May Hashem bless you with health, happiness, longevity, and much nachat from your family and all your descendants. Amen. Before we begin, Ben Porat Yosef, yes. Before we start the class, just the fact that we mentioned 9/11, although today is not the Hebrew date of 9/11, 9/11 Hebrew date will be sometime next week, but nevertheless, the moment that we say 9/11, right away it brings to our mind the tragic day that definitely changed the face of humanity, changed the life of mankind throughout the world. Until today, we are paying the price of that calamity that literally created such a change in our life, such a fear in our life. So, Be'ezat Hashem, we hope and pray that HaKadosh Baruch Hu shower upon us His constant protection, which brings me to say the following. You know, the number 9/11 is always connected to the emergency number. Correct? There are certain numbers. You have 311, 211, 811, 911. And each one of them has different messages. One is 411. Remember those days? That's information. Then you have, I think, 311, call before you dig. Anything related to county matters, on the line ground, on the line products of electricity, plumbing, sewer, etc., plus many other matters. It's also, I think, 311. Different states may have different numbers. There is a new one that came out recently. This is called the Suicide Prevention Hotline. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's 811 or something like that. Then you have the famous 7-Eleven, free Slurpee on 7-Eleven. That's the store, okay, that gives you occasional late runs into the Slurpee department. Just remember that not every Slurpee is kasher. Some of them are kasher, some of them are not. There is a website that has, I think, based on the Starcade and CRC, the current kosher flavors that you can have it without any halachic problem whatsoever. And then it comes to the Jewish 9/11. The Jewish 9/11 is the day of Tisha B'Av. If you look at the Tisha B'Av, the month of Av is the 11th month of the Jewish calendar, and Tisha is the 9th day of the 11th month. So 9/11, even for Yehudim, it also has a very loud and unfortunate message. So whichever angle we look at it, we hope and pray that the Rahamim that come upon us in the month of Elul will prevent tragedies of this nature to affecting mankind, because at the end of the day, there were thousands of victims that perished on that day, but there were also thousands of widows, of orphans, of people who, in the prime of their life was suddenly snatched from their hand. So, Be'ezat Hashem, Hashem gives a consolation to all of the above. And when it comes to the Hebrew date, which I believe is the 23rd day of Elul, Beli Nether will speak about it again. So now we're going to resume the learning of Tomer Deborah. On Friday, we gave the full class on the Ben Ish Chai, but before that, we discussed different areas of the human body, and you're able to listen to them in itorah.com. Look for my name, look for the classes, and you'll see the different parts of the body, mostly connected to the head. The mind, the brain, the eyes, the throat, the voice, the sound of the voice, the mouth, the ears, and each and every one of them brought different examples how individually and collectively they have an influence in our life. And the basic message is basically don't minimize what each part of your head represents, because they all have a certain level of influence in the life of the person. If I need to summarize all these 8 or 7, I think there were 8 parts of the head in our daily life, the short statement will be change. That's the message. There is a website called change.org. What do you do there? If you want to start a petition to be looked at by the White House, you need to have 25,000 signatures. If you have 25,000 signatures for any matter, someone will look at it. That website is called change.org. Okay? I occasionally get these messages. That's why I know about it. Most of the stuff, it's irrelevant for us, but you see the different things that people would like to see a bit different in the country. That has this, without change.org, you see constant changes. In the political arena, the political now shtick is indoctrination in the elementary schools, in the public schools, in the high schools, in the colleges. So if there was a time for Mashiach to come, I think that this is it. The economy and everything else that goes around. So let's take change as the foundation of today's class. And the question is, how do I change? Let's say I recognize that I need to think more positive, or that I need to look at things in a more good way, Ain Tova, and I only need to train myself to speak only good things. How do I change? Okay, I know what's written in the book. I know what I need to do. But the question is, how do I change? Comes to me Moshe Cordovero, and it says the following. Let me just turn the pages, because I did speak about all these the other day. So it says, number 1, the foundation of change, and he calls it the driver in the seat of the person's life. Who is driving your life? So it says, Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, ha'anava, humility. Humility means I recognize that I need to change. That's step number 1. If a person doesn't recognize that he or she made a mistake, how can we expect change to take place? Just saying sorry, okay, it's a nice word. Okay, 5-letter word in English. 5-letter word. Okay, that's nothing if you really don't mean it. And that's why it says, Rosh Berishon, Anava, the recognition that I need to change, and then Yuchlal Hakol, then everything is going to fall into place. I'm humble. God says, I like you. What was Moshe Rabbeinu's ultimate mitzvah that the Torah describes from all of the greatness of Moshe? Ve'aish Moshe anav me'od. The Torah says, you want to understand how did Moshe Rabbeinu arrive to be who he became? Humility. Allow me to illustrate certain messages from the Torah proper about the humility of Moshe Rabbeinu. Right in the beginning of Safra Shemot, Moshe Rabbeinu is adopted by Paro. Moshe Rabbeinu is raised in a silver platter. And then suddenly the Torah says, Moshe Rabbeinu says, how can I enjoy the comfortable life in the palace when my brothers and sisters are suffering? Bayar besiblotam. He shared the burden of his brothers and sisters. He didn't say, I'm staying in the palace. Listen, Paro adopted me. Hakarat Tov. I can justify not leaving the palace. I have to be thankful. I have to be grateful. Maybe they'll need me, and I'm not going to be around. But what Moshe Rabbeinu says, all of the above is true. But you know what? My brothers are suffering, and I'm going to enjoy a comfortable life. That's one example. Second example, when Moshe Rabbeinu goes to Midian and becomes eventually the son-in-law of Yitro, Borei Olam negotiates, listen to my words, negotiates with Moshe Rabbeinu for 7 days. I want you to become Mashiach for the Jewish people. This is the offer that God made Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe, I need Mashiach. Would you like to become one? Can you imagine God comes to me and it says, I want you to be Mashiach? And he said, Purim is coming in a few months, God. But Moshe Rabbeinu refused for 7 days. You know what happened at the end? Moshe Rabbeinu says, you know what, God, I can't with you. Do whatever you want. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu said to God. Shelach na beyad tishlach. You decide who you want. Now, why did Moshe Rabbeinu refuse God's offer for 7 days? Imagine yourself, you work for a company, and the company says, I value you as an employee. I'd like to give you a promotion. I'd like to give you a salary increase, and I'd like to give you a bonus. And I'd like to give you a trip to Israel, all expenses paid. Say amen. Amen. Okay, so I don't remember if that ever happens, but okay, are you going to say, no, the economy is doing not so good? Are you going to say no, or are you going to say, thank you so much, I really appreciate it? Thank you. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu hesitated in accepting the position of Mashiach to the Jewish people? Short answer, because he was concerned about the reaction of his brother Aharon. Aharon, Moshe Rabbeinu says, is older than me. Aharon is with our brothers and sisters, dealing with the misery and pain and suffering that they are experiencing as slaves. He is the one who actually watched over me when I was put on the basket in the water. And now I'm one raised in a silver platter. I'm going to become Mashiach. You know what God says to Moshe? That's your fear. Bera'acha besamach belibo. If your fear is Aharon, don't worry. Aharon has so much love that he will be happy for you. But the Torah adds one word, belibo, in his heart. Why the Torah must tell me that the happiness of Aharon is in the heart? Short answer. Let's say in a few weeks, Hol HaMoed, Sukkot, we're going to do Be'ezat Hashem, raffle, the drawing of raffle, Sefer Torah raffle number 12. As you know, we sold out yesterday of number 12. We're launching this Shabbat mega raffle number 13. You win a Sefer Torah, you win a Megillat Esther, and you win a Ketore, because it's the Bar Mitzvah celebration of the Sefer Torah raffle. I'm not fundraising and I'm not selling anything. But the most beautiful part, what the rabbi said yesterday, that even though you're getting 3 prizes instead of 1, we're keeping the price the same. No inflation in the ticket of the Sefer Torah. We're going to fight the inflation. I'm not selling anything. 1 ticket for $360, 2 for $613, 3 for 1,001. Hazaku Baruch, you're a good listener. So let's go back. Imagine somebody wins Sefer Torah number 12. Any one of us. Okay? And we pick up the ticket and somebody announced the winner is Mr. So-and-so. Oh, I'm so happy for you, let's say. But the truth is, how happy is that person when maybe you bought one ticket and he bought 10 tickets, and he figured that the one who came one day as a tourist and bought a ticket suddenly won. And if you look at the statistics of the Sefer Torah raffles, we have Manhattan, 2 in Deal, New Jersey, 1 in Brooklyn, 2 in Brazil, 1 in Argentina, 2 in Mexico. And Florida, 1 or 2. So 12 Sefer Torah, only 2. Only 2 Sefer Torahs in Florida. Why our international membership, they come and they support, obviously, our holy institution. But how true is, I'm so happy for you? Is it lip service or is the heart? I don't know. Because already the Pasuk tells me that a person can only see as far as the eye can see. But God sees the heart of the person. It's a Pasuk in the book of Shmuel. When Shmuel HaNavi was told by Hashem, go and select a son of Ishai to become the next king of Israel, every one that Shmuel wanted to approve, God says, I don't like him. This guy is arrogant. This guy is short fuse. This fellow has a temper. Midot are not good. Cannot be a king of Israel. And then God says to Shmuel, you know what your problem is? That you're judging the book by its cover. Ki ha'adam ro'eh la'inayim. A person sees what's in front of them. Ve'Hashem ro'eh la'levav. And God sees the heart. And that's why the Torah adds the heart of Aharon. When the Pasuk writes, Bera'acha besamach belibo. God says, don't worry about Aharon. Your brother Aharon is such a special person who loves everyone, who pursues the peace and loves the peace, that is going to be excited for your promotion. And therefore it says, Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, and it says, even if we look at the Torah, how many times we see expressions by Abraham Avinu, Ve'anochi afar ba'efer, I'm dust and ashes. Moshe Rabbeinu says, Benachnu ma, where are we? David HaMelech says, Ve'anochi tola'at ve'lo ish, I'm a worm, I'm not even a human. So it says that the more humility the person develops, the more respect the person develops towards others. Because why sometimes people don't respect people? Because they feel that they are better than them. But if the person, and I'm not saying that this is easy to do, by the way. This is not easy at all. You need to train and you need to do exercises the way the Nachmanides, the Ramban, writes in the letter of his son to his son. What does he say to him? Rule number 1 in your life: speak pleasantly and respectful to every person and in every situation. Number 1. And this will help you to control your anger, which is the worst enemy of the person. And when you control your anger, suddenly humility will flourish. When you control your anger, suddenly humility will flourish, which is the best character trait that a person can develop. The more humble the person becomes, the easier life, because of our arrogance. And therefore it says, I found, says Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, certain therapeutic measures, that's what he says, to help the person slowly. But, it's like medicines. There are certain medicines that treat the symptoms, correct? And there are medicines that go to the root of the problem. Most medicines in the conventional way of medicine, what they do, you take a Tylenol, you take an Advil, what does it do? Temporarily numbs the pain. Do they go to the root of the pain? No. Relief. Hazako Baruch. It's called pain relief. Rabbi Moshe Cordovero says, I'm going to give you two types of medicines, and he calls them treatments. Treatments for the neshama. Although he uses the word tahboshet. Tahboshet in Hebrew means bandages. Gauze, band-aid, how do you call this, alcohol, antibacterial, how do you call this? No, I have it at home. Neosporin, Hazako Baruch. Hazako Baruch. I'm going to give you neosporin for the neshama with pain relief. Ointment and pain relief. Okay? Oh, yeah, that's also a good brand. So the question is, what are they? It says we need to attack two aspects, he says. Work on the holiness and activate humility. It's a cholesterol, right? Some cholesterol, they tell you is not good, and there is a certain aspect of the cholesterol that is good. LDL, HDL, DHL is the shipping company, don't confuse it, okay? That's DHL. On time. Okay? On time delivery, yellow and red trucks. So you have LDL and HDL. Then you have CDL, that's a license to truck drivers. They pay very good. If you're interested, $100,000 a year to a signing bonus. So desperate are the companies that's the starting salary today. It's not really a life because you need to be on the road, many hours continuously, obviously, but for a Yehudi, may not be too practical to pray with a minyan, to have kosher food, Shabbat, deadlines, etc. But interesting how all these abbreviations, each one has a different meaning. So it says we're going to do therapeutic number 1. It says, run away, not easy by the way, but it says, train yourself to run away from honor as much as you can. Kavod, that the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says, Kol harodef achar hakavod, hakavod boreach mimenu. The more the person pursues the honor, honor runs away from the person. Look at honor has a shadow. Can you capture a shadow? Impossible. Whatever you try to capture, the shadow is a step ahead. Now, what's the benefit or what's the detrimental effect to be honored? And that's why many times people do things quietly. Like yesterday. You know what happened yesterday? Somebody came to me quietly and he says to me, Rabbi, at the end of the prayers, whichever amount of tickets you have left over, I'll take care of it. Very generous. But he tells me, don't say my name. Beautiful. Anonymous. Sometimes people do things for the community, for whatever level of the community it is, and they keep quiet. Although there is a concept, something called mefarsemim oseh mitzvah, that you publicize whoever did the mitzvah. Why? Because when we publicize, it encourages others to give. But if the person says, I'd rather keep it on a low profile, we respect that. Go to see the memorial plaques. Some of them you don't know who donated them. Because the person wants to do without getting the spotlight. Why? getting the spotlight, how wonderful it feels, but it's not truly beneficial for the person. Sometimes, I'm not saying that you went up to the Safra, people say to you, Hazaku Baruch. You went up to the Safra, people say to you, Hazaku Baruch, beautiful. But sometimes the spotlight brings happiness to the person. And that happiness is considered as down payment for the mitzvah that you did. Let's say you did a mitzvah, and now you're getting congratulated. How do you feel when you're congratulated?
Good.
You feel super good. That good feeling suddenly is considered in Shemayim part of the compensation for whichever mitzvah you did. You ever see when people praise me? And I'm not arrogant saying this, and people talk about me. You look at my face. What do? I lower myself. I lower my face, and sometimes I tell the person, please don't talk about me. Stop. Why? Because I attract, like it or not, anyone that is in the spotlight attracts Ain Hara. And believe me, just my name alone attracts Ain Hara. Not because my name is Rabbi Galimidi. The name Yosef attracts something. That's why the same numerical value of the name Yosef is kin'ah, jealousy. True. Okay? Okay, that's why, I wear some protection for Ain Hara. Even. By the way. Now, let's go. Number 2. Think about your true self. Now, there are 2 types of a person has dual personality. Although Kabbalistic dual face means the right side of the face and the left side of the face. But from a spiritual perspective, says Rabbi Moshe, there is a person that outwardly, on the street, on the eye of the public, at the synagogue, wonderful, pious, respectful, happy, very nice. Goes on, takes away the mask, and then you show the true person. This is part, by the way, of our daily prayers in the Korbanot, after the Akedah. Le'olam yehe adam yireh shamayim baseter kebagalui. It says forever, be Adam. First be a Ben Adam. Be a mensch. Be Adame. Be respectful. Be proper. Then yireh shamayim. Because if you don't have good mitzvot, you're not really yireh shamayim. If you don't have good mitzvot, yireh shamayim is not there. Yeah, maybe there in the practical aspect. You eat kasher, you put on talet, you put on tefillin, you do all the practical mitzvot. But the mitzvot department, which is the whole idea of self-improvement as a person, is lacking. And that's therefore the tefillah says, Le'olam yehe Adam. Why does the tefillah says Adam? Why does the tefillah says Geber? Be a man. Or ish, be a person, be a human. But the Torah says Adam. You know why the Torah says Adam? Because Adam is the foundation of the opening statement of Rabbi Moshe Cordovero. Opening statement says, Adam.
Adami.
Ra'ui sheidame. Stand show, please. Ha'adam ra'ui sheidame lekono. The human Don't think for a moment that what I just said is only limited to men. It's also for ladies. What do you think? A lady doesn't need to have some level of respect and humility and no anger and a clean word? So this is, Adam is all inclusive. It says the human is appropriate to emulate their creator. Emulate is ledamot, Adam. The root word of the word Adam is Adam, dam, and ledamot is dam. And that's why the Pasuk says, Le'olam yehe Adam. First, emulate the ways of God. Then, Yere Shamayim. Baseter kebagalui. In the privacy of your home, in the privacy of your life, like you are to the outside world. And sometimes I come across this discrepancy in the personality of the person. Sometimes people call me with problems, and one of the first things that I say is, but I have difficulties to accept what you're telling me. Your husband or your wife, they seem to be so nice, so proper, so pleasant, so respectful. And you know what they tell me? Yeah, Rabbi, with you, or at the synagogue. Come to my house. Go to the world of business, and you'll see a lion or a lioness taking their mask off. And that's what Rabbi Moshe says. Activate in humility. Another thing he says, very interesting. It says, even when you eat, there is an essence of arrogance or humility. Now, what does food has to do with arrogance or humility? I understand, me, myself, and I. The book doesn't say it, but I think that I understand what he's trying to say. How do you eat? What do you eat? And I'm not saying that you should not have a nice meal and a beautiful meal, especially in honor of Shabbat, holidays, Rosh Chodesh, etc. But perhaps what Rabbi Moshe Cordovero is trying to say is, do you make a big deal out of food? Or you eat what your wife prepared, and you are happy, and you say thank you, and you praise their cooking, or suddenly you have comments about the food. Or if it's not in a certain standard of menu, it's not good enough. You criticize the spouse. And I'm not against you going out with your wife on special occasions and have a nice meal, God forbid. And I think that everyone agrees that there are certain situations that this extra is required. But what if you only live this way, and for you food is an exorbitant, integral, demanding part of your life? If this wine doesn't cost you $150 a barrel, cheap. If this meat is not aged for 90 days, garbage. True, there are people like that. It's an illness, has v'shalom, especially when it comes to affordability. They want to play the big leagues with the big boys, and they go above and beyond instead of tightening the belt. And I repeat, so there are no misunderstandings. Rabbi Moshe Cordovero is not saying don't enjoy a nice meal, but don't make a big deal out of it. Enjoy the meal, be thankful, say berachot before and after, go the extra mile when necessary, especially the holiday Shabbat, Yom Tov. It's a given that we eat better and more. But whatever we have, just go with the flow. It's like sometimes people say, Rabbi, what happened to the sambusak and the shakshuka? True. I said, get me a sponsor, I give you a lavish breakfast, like today. You want this every day? Mishabera. Be happy with what you have. That's what the Rabbi Moshe Cordovero is saying. Number three, he says, think about the mistakes that we have done throughout our life. Obviously, I wish that I could say that mistakes were not done. And I'm sure that we all agree that throughout our life, we may have made a couple of mistakes or couple of averot. So it says as follows. There is a pasuk in the name of David HaMelech. Just 1 second. 1 second. Before I go to this, remembering the sins, interesting enough, in yesterday's parasha, the Torah discusses going to the bathroom. The Torah discusses going to the bathroom. Yeah. Where? The pasuk writes, Ki teseh lamilchama. You're going out to work. Bechisita et seatecha. Cover whatever your body released. There is a law in the Torah army. When the soldiers went out, they will carry a shovel, a tiny shovel. Yes. For what purpose? So in the need that they need to go to the bathroom, they make a hole on the ground, they do the physiological needs, they relieve themselves, and then they need to cover it. That's the meaning of this pasuk. Bechisita et seatecha. Covered whatever came out of your body. Why? כי השם אלוקיך מתהלך בקרב מחניך, והיה מחניך הקדוש, ולא יראה בך עבד דבר, ושב מאחריך. Translation. Because God is traveling with you in the midst of your army. God is traveling with the army, and no nakedness should be seen lest God takes a step back. From here we learn many halachot. Number one, the relief of the human body. Close the door of the bathroom. Don't leave it open. Even when you finish using the bathroom, keep the door closed. Number one. Number two, how do you speak? Ervat davar. Do you speak naked or do you speak dressed up? What does it mean? It's not talking about talking naked physically. That's a different shiur. It's about talking without filters. A person talks without thinking. You open your mouth and becomes a sewer because you speak without limitation. You speak without thinking. You speak without choosing what you are saying. That's number two. Number three, ervat davar, lack of modesty in the dress code. That's the message of the pasuk. Comes the Gemara in Shabbat, and it says, who is considered a wealthy person? You know what the Gemara says? Whoever has a restroom close to wherever they are eating at. Today, everybody has a restroom in their apartment. But in the time of the Talmud, restroom, what was it? Outside of the home. Go behind the home, go to the corner, and go and do whatever you need to do. Now the Gemara writes and it says, Ezehu ashir el ashir ella beda'at. The wealth that the Gemara is referring to is a wealthy person with their mind, not with money, because the wealth of money, it comes from Hashem. But the wealth of wisdom, you, me, him, anyone, needs to make the investment to acquire knowledge. Without that, you don't just put a USB in your brain and download Wikipedia. You want to know about life, you want to know about science, you want to know about business, you want to know about construction. You need to learn. Without that, you can't do it. So meaning to say, a person that has a restroom next to their table, you know what truly means? When the person is a hidush, from Rabbi Moshe Galimidi in the Menachem of yesterday, about the going to the bathroom. It says, before you eat, think about the bathroom. What does it mean? Very simple. When you look at the food, today in the morning it happened to me. I had 3 different offers today in the morning. For what? For sambusak. Rabbi, you want a sambusak? You want sambusak? You want sambusak? 3 different offers. My stomach says, you know what? I can say beracha before and after, Ya'elu Nishmat, to celebrate. You see how the Yesir Hara gets you? But then I know that if I'm going to eat it, I'm going to pay the price.
Your wife did.
No, I'm not going to tell my wife if I ate. Oh, sweetheart, good morning. Shavua Tov. She may be watching the class now. You're putting me into trouble now. I say I did not touch the sambusa. I did not look at the sambusa. He is watching me. I have witnesses. Sweetheart, they have witnesses that I did not touch the sambusa. And the plate in front of me is only some shakshuka. That's it, L'Shem Shamayim. But that's what the Rabbi Moshe Galimidi says. When you sit down to eat, think for a moment. You can enjoy the meal. Nobody's against enjoying that. But what if happens if then after the meal you have stomachache, or you have heartburn, or you spend too much time in the bathroom? Okay? Fascinating hidush. So at the end of the day, for a few moments of enjoyment, I'm going to jeopardize my life? Comes Rabbi Moshe Galimidi and it says further. Wow. Wow. Heavy. Very heavy. I'm going to leave number 3 for tomorrow, because number 2 is going to get heavier. Okay? The Ben Ish Chai speaks about this. The Ben Ish Chai explains that going to the bathroom obviously is a physical and halachic requirement. That's why the halakha is, if a person feels the need of going to the bathroom, go to the bathroom first and then pray. Why? It's a pasuk. Kal asmotai tomarna Hashem yichamocha. All my body parts will praise the Almighty. So if my digestive system is not clear, so how can that part of the body praise Hashem? So the Ben Ish Chai says something very deep, but very practical. And I apologize in advance for what I'm going to say now. The Ben Ish Chai writes, and it says, all the openings of the human body face one direction forward, with the exception of one opening of the body that face downward. That's called the orifice of the rear part of the person's body. I'm not going to say the name, you all have it. Okay? Everybody has it. Men, women, and children. And it says in Menachem, why that opening is facing down? Because that is the residual that the body releases from the power of Tum'ah. Now you may say, what has to do Tum'ah, impurity, with going to the bathroom? Going to the bathroom is healthy. Going to the bathroom is mandatory. If the person doesn't go to the bathroom 3 days, it's very dangerous to the person's life because all the toxins are inside of your body. You go to the hospital, they flush it out, they give you a suppository, whatever that means. But it says the Menachem. I'm going to say the Menachem first, and then I'm going to say the Rabbi Moshe Cordovero. It says the Menachem that the aspect of relieving the person when they go to the bathroom, in part, it says the Menachem, is a tikkun for the idolatry of Peor. Remember the time of Pinchas, Balak, Zimri, and Cosbi. What was the name of that idolatry called? Peor. Why that idolatry is called Peor? Very simple. Because they relieved themselves on top of the idol. This was the idolatry of Peor. So the girls will entice the Jewish men and whatever, and the girl will say, you want to spend time with me? No problem, but I need you to do something for me. Go and relieve yourself on top of the idol. Now, anybody who's listening to what I'm saying says, Meshuggah, what are you saying? What kind of honor is to an idol to defecate themselves? Look at the Berashat Balak and Pinchas. You're going to see exactly what I'm saying. And look at the Menachem, and you'll see exactly what I'm saying. So it says the Menachem, every time we go to the bathroom and we wash our hands after we come out, and we say Asher Yatzar, we are metaken the avon of Peor. Because that part of the body is called Peor. Unbelievable. I go to the bathroom, I wash my hands, I say Asher Yatzar, I'm fixing a mega sin made over 3,000 years ago. A fantastic tikkun comes to be Moshe Cordovero, and it says, 1 minute. There is one more benefit when a person goes to the bathroom. 2 benefits actually. And this does not include the physical well-being of the body, because not going to the bathroom at all is dangerous. Going to the bathroom too frequent and lose foul movement is not good neither. We need to find the middle of the road. Normal, daily, without stomach aches, without pains, God forbid. So it says to be Moshe Cordovero that there is 2 things going on. Number 1, we are also repairing the avon of Adam and Hava. What was the avon of Adam and Hava? They ate when they were not supposed to eat. So if going to the bathroom is caused by excessive eating, in a way, that's the avon that Adam and Hava did. They were told, don't eat from that, don't eat the sambusak. And they ate the sambusak. I'm not sure if they ate the sambusak, but whatever they ate. Hita is part of the sambusak. You can't make sambusak or burekas without hita, without wheat. But it says to be Moshe Cordovero, something scary. The more you go to the bathroom due to excess eating, the more tum'ah was actually leaving the body of the person. Because if you eat normal, with measure and with limitation, and like the Rambam says, you're not supposed to eat till you are satisfied. You're supposed to leave a third of the stomach empty. Look at the stomach like a washing machine. You have different cycles, correct? Spin and wash, and I don't even know the names, but I do know that you look at the washing machine, it's a computer.
Overload.
Cold water, medium cold, wrinkle-free, excessive heat, whatever, different buttons. And if you stop the washing machine, that's not good neither, because the garments cannot really spin and wash properly. So the Rambam says, in a way, that's our digestive system functions. So we need to leave space for the body to process everything. And that gives a good digestive system to the person. I know that what I'm saying, at least to me, this is very deep. You know, I'm going to the bathroom, I'm fixing the avon of peor. So going to the bathroom a lot is good or not good? On one hand, you're telling me you're going to the bathroom because of Adam and Hava. You're going to the bathroom, you metaken peor. You're going to the bathroom, the tum'ah is leaving your body. So is it good going to the bathroom or not good going to the bathroom? So the answer is all of the above. If the person goes to the bathroom by the normal way of going to the bathroom becomes a cleansing for the body and for the spirit. That's why not going to the bathroom and the person has the need, says the Ben Ish Hai, it affects the fertility of the husband. That's what the Ben Ish Hai writes. It affects the fertility of the husband because urine and zera come from the same part of the human body. And if a person delays in going to the bathroom, especially number one, the membrane where the zera comes out, it becomes crushed towards the wall and doesn't allow the zera to go out because the bladder is, so to speak, swollen and that's inflamed. Okay? And that's why when your body sends you a message, number one or number two, that you need to go, is physically beneficial to go. And what happens if you feel the need and you don't go? Says the Ben Ish Hai, then you have another problem. What's the problem? There is a pasuk in the Torah that says, Bal teshakesu et nafshotechem. Listen to the translation of this sentence. Pasuk from the Torah. Do not create a repulsive feeling to your soul. This pasuk comes from the laws of kashrut. But the Ben Ish Hai says, this pasuk, it also has to do with going to the bathroom. That if your body is telling you, please go to the bathroom, and you don't go to the bathroom, the neshama is not comfortable. Because the neshama is kodesh, and that's why you cannot say a beracha if the bathroom door is open. You cannot say a beracha if there is a bad smell. You can't say a beracha if you're holding a baby and the diaper is soiled. You cannot say a beracha. Why not? Because bad smell causes God to take a distance. And that's what the Ben Ish Hai says, you're affecting your soul. On the other hand, going to the bathroom a lot could be a problem. Sure. For example, sometimes medicines can cause, I don't want to say the word, side effects. And one of these side effects is you need to go to the bathroom a lot. Okay? In a way, that's good. That means that the toxins are leaving your body. But on the other hand, going to the bathroom a lot could be connected by eating excessively. So that excess food that we ate, actually it was wasted. And that becomes feeding for the negative angels. Hitzonim. I know that what I'm saying is too deep, and some of us never heard of such a thing. But at the end of the day, he mentioned, you want to start developing your humility, look at your eating habits. Believe me, if we exercise, and I'm not saying that I'm immune, okay, and I have, plenty of justifications what to eat. No, he invited me to his home. He invited me to the Berit Milah. He invited me to the Zohar. I'm not going to eat. So I have to eat. But I try to exercise self-control. And I eat maybe, say, beracha. Take an olive, take a pickle, take some egg, tuna, say beracha, and that's it. I wasn't like this all the time. I was the opposite. All the Hiddurim, the full package. So, Be'ezat Hashem, Yiratzon that the words of Torah elevate the Neshama of your Father, Amen Shalom, and Hashem should bless you with a Richut Yamim Mishanim Tovot. Okay, Shavua Tov Deborah. Remember tonight, 8 o'clock, Rabbi David Asher here at the Safra Synagogue. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hananiah מן הקשיא אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך, הרבה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפש למען צדקו, יגיד תורה ויגיד. תקיש.